You're listening to Turi Ryder's She Said What podcast. I'm Turi, along with Marci Persky. In this installment, when foul Arizona weather threatens the lives of Arizona's majestic birds of prey, Marci makes fun of them. Also, do you have the kind of courage it takes to let your kid completely flunk out? What is the itinerary for Hawaii? What are the things you will be doing in Hawaii?
Being on a beach.
Okay.
That's our whole itinerary.
How long can you lie on a beach before you go stark raving bonkers? I can take it for about half an hour.
I don't know.
There's
no beaches around here.
The whole thing is a beach. What are you talking about? You live
with beach without water.
Yeah, that's where you live. You live in a thousands and thousands of mile beach with no water.
So the water will be nice. I think we're going to go on a whale watching thing.
Oh, those are cool. I predict some idiot in the cat sanctuary will call you up and make you crazy in the middle of your vacation.
I predict it'll happen daily, but I think my phone might not be on.
I think your phone needs to fall over during the whale watching expedition. Whoops!
No!
So sorry, I'm unreachable.
Yeah, I'm in a whale's gut. Please leave a message.
There's a good answering machine message I haven't heard before.
Yep. We just like to not plan anything.
That sounds good. Speaking of not planning anything, I had not anticipated one of the after effects of my vacation visiting you in rural Arizona was you always mention it takes this long to get into town and buy this. It takes this long to go get that. When I came home, either because I appreciated the opportunity or because I had this fear that somehow I would be transported to rural Arizona, I went to the produce market and I bought everything. And then I went to Trader Joe's and I bought everything. My pantry, like I'm leaning on it to close it because I've got so many cans of tuna fish in there, because what if suddenly I'm in rural Arizona and it's an hour and a half to get anything? Then I went into Walgreens and I'm like, better stock up on mascara. Apparently, I believe that for the end of the world, I should be wearing mascara. It's just some weird reaction that I had when I came back.
Now you get it. Now you get why that whole bedroom back there is basically my pantry.
And my response is completely illogical. 1 block to the Walgreens here. It's not exactly the place where you go to buy like a fresh tomato, but you could get a canned tomato. But now, since I went to visit you, there's some kind of artificial pioneer spirit that got grafted onto me while I slept. And I've got to churn my own butter and milk my own goats. And
well, they're showing all these commercials now about how Uber Eats will now deliver anything that you need.
What? And anything? Really?
Anything. I mean, they even show like Gwyneth Paltrow eating her own candle that smells like her lady business in the Uber Eats commercial. It's all people eating things that aren't food, but Uber Eats delivers it now.
Do they really show Gwyneth Paltrow eating her candle that looks like a lady bit?
Well, it supposedly smells like her lady bit.
That's the thing she's eating?
Yes.
In the ad.
In the ad on TV.
I'm even queasier than I've been in a long time.
But the whole point is there's Uber nothing up here.
Yeah, no Uber.
There is no Uber Eat, Uber delivery.
Yeah, I can rub it in. But it's beautiful. It's beautiful where you lived. And I really enjoyed the eagle who modeled for us while we were walking around the little lake up there. So that was fun.
We had one yesterday right next to the front deck. And I thought of you.
Oh, yeah. I like those.
Osprey. The giant ospreys. They come over looking for stuff. And I say, no water. No water.
Well, no, your daughter ran that hose in the backyard. There's a swamp out there now.
1,000 gallons.
You never know what could be there. If my kid dumped my entire 1,000-gallon water tank when I lived in the desert out in the backyard, I would have to comfort myself with like, the water is somewhere. It's just not in my water tank for me to bathe with or drink.
Actually, I've never seen a worm up here, but I imagine they're down like really, really low in the ground, and they drank 1,000 gallons of water.
That's nice. Yeah, that's a lovely thought. Your daughter is a superhero to the worms of Arizona. The kids that don't live around you, the older 3, do you still yell at them ever for any reason?
No.
I'm trying to figure out at what age, somewhere between when the small cutie is in his second year of university and some point further in the future, I presume I will stop yelling at him, but I don't know when that will be because I lost my temper at him yesterday. So,
The eldest child,
yeah.
Molly and I used to fight a lot like that. And I really don't know why. We just did.
It's,
And I think that went probably well into her 30s.
the small cutie had a thing go wrong, like a sad thing happened. And so for a week, he kind of was sad about it because it was a genuinely sad thing. He sort of let his work pile up a little bit. And then, in my opinion, it was up to him to start digging himself out. Instead, and because he's dyslexic, I edit his papers for him. So he kept promising me that this paper was on its way to me for editing, and it didn't come. Finally, the last straw, the paper was supposed to come Friday. It didn't come. Saturday night, nothing. Sunday, nada, bupkis. And finally, I get a little message saying, my roommate's brother is in town and we're going to go out and enjoy the day. Like, dude, I've been putting aside time for 3 days now.
At what point, though, do you let him learn the hard lesson? You don't do your work. You don't get an A. You don't get a B. You don't get a C. You don't get a D. You fail.
You know, I liked letting him fail better when I wasn't paying for it.
Still, if he fails, he fails. He's done.
So expensive. This failure is so.
Yeah,
so...
well, you made that choice.
Yeah, and then it'll be on him. But I secretly worry that he'll end up living under a viaduct or sleeping on the red line. So I'm not sure what to do. Finally, he answered the phone, and he was on campus with his friend's brother. And I said, go home. And he did, actually.
I doubt that you watch South Park.
I can only take it in small doses.
There's an infamous song that they actually did as an ad for this season with like a full chorus.
Oh, boy.
And a full orchestra.
Yeah.
Symphonic orchestra.
Yeah.
And it goes a little bit like this. Kyle's mom is a bitch, bitch, bitch. She's a bitch, 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 bitch. Kyle's mom is a big bitch. I think your son and his friends were probably singing that at some point.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, but see, I've inoculated myself against that because I trained my kids like a catechism. Who has the meanest mom? We do.
I want to know what he's so afraid of that when you call him from thousands of miles away, that he runs home when you tell him to go home. See, I would just let him get the F at this point.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I was paying.
Turi's partner's a bitch. Turi's partner's a bitch. She's a bitch.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, guess what we did?
What did you do?
I had my moment this weekend.
What?
Remember that trailer full of junk sitting next to the workshop?
The one that Frankie keeps saying, let's take that to the dump. And then he says, nah, I don't feel like taking that to the dump. That one?
For 3 years.
Yeah.
Yes. Guess what?
You hit the roof?
It went to the dump.
Oh my gosh. What did you have to do?
He went and got an actual dump trailer. Spent like, I think 4 hours transferring everything from our trailer to the dump trailer. He left me the toilet so I can use it for a planter.
Oh, how nice of him, I think.
Yeah, but everything else is gone. It was over a ton, by the way.
Oh, wow.
But it's gone.
So now you can start piling it up all over again now.
It looks so nice over there. Oh. I mean, for the last 2 days, every time I've looked over there and I've gone,
Did I have anything to do with that? Sometimes people come to your house and you see stuff through their eyes.
See, I really wanted that done before you came.
Yeah.
To be honest, but when you didn't say anything about it. But now in these 50 mile.
I said a little something about it. Little bit, well, not much.
These 50-mile-an-hour winds would have wreaked havoc on that.
So you were figuring you were going to get hit by a flying toilet is what you're saying?
I'm saying that we've got a storm rolling in and I probably would get like killed by a Budweiser can going through my forehead. because it's crazy out. Even the goats won't come out. They're like hiding in their little house.
Well, that's why they have a little house.
But I did put a lovely picture up on our Instagram of the Coconino County dump
That's important
for everybody to see.
Everyone
Yes.
needs to know your victory. Victory.
Well, it's a dump with a view.
It,
Actually.
Good to know. Well, I'm always amazed at the places that are actually really beautiful places if you just overlook whatever it is that they're doing there.
It's buried underneath.
Like
tons and tons of
the
dirt.
steel mills of Gary, Indiana that used to stink to high heaven. They're right there on the shore of Lake Michigan. If they were 50 miles north, they would be $1 million homes.
I used to hold my breath.
We all did.
When we would go from Chicago to Michigan.
We all did.
It was so bad.
I remember as a child saying, what smells so bad?
In beautiful Flagstaff, beautiful little town. Hardly anyone can afford to live there. The smell of the Purina plant is just the worst. And I have dogs and I have cats and I smell their food all the time. And let me tell you, it does not smell like that.
Well, that's the stuff they're not putting into the food is what you're smelling. It
it's
is
bad.
I'm thinking about, looking at stuff with different eyes, like when I came to see you. And I'm thinking about when people come to your house and you take a quick evaluation look around and all the stuff that I see in my house that I live with every day. And all of a sudden I realize other people are going to see it and what it looks like. And I flip out. Like there's this, I don't know how many people have like the chair where someone sits and is comfortable and you don't notice that it's a little threadbare and then a little more threadbare. And finally it looks like a stuffing party is happening underneath the arm or the pillow of the chair. We've got one of those. And I just sort of, the same way that I didn't look in the mirror when I was gaining weight, I don't look at the chair. And then if I know people are coming, I take a look and go, oh my God.
It'll probably blow away in these 50-mile-an-hour winds. The giant birds up here,
yeah.
The eagles and the hawks and those big ospreys are all flying backwards. It's like the coolest thing to sit and watch. Everyone's flying backwards. I'm like, you can't do it.
You're so encouraging. I still remember there was this movie, one of these French Artie movies. There's a scene where they're trying to film this little cat coming early in the morning to lick a saucer of milk, but the cat is not cooperating. So they're taking take after take. They put the cat down gently and it walks away. Then after a few takes, you see them kind of shove the cat a little bit towards finally in the last take, you see the cat just kind of come flying into the camera. Like somebody's bowled it there. And I thought, you can only fight nature for so long. And then you get frustrated. Eagles fly backwards. Kittens are pitched onto movie sets. I'm also always interested and entertained by the little disclaimer that no animals were harmed in the filming of this, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, maybe not harmed, but annoyed.
They might be computer generated too, for all we know at this point.
That's true.
They do such a good job at that.
Then they should say none of the animals used in this movie are actually animals. They're stock puppets.
That ruins the illusion.
I'll just put it in really tiny print.
Well, then I wouldn't be able to read it.
That's right.
No illusion.
That's right. But just if you don't want people to know about it, just put it in really tiny print. Thanks for listening to Turi Ryder's She Said What podcast. If you'd like to do us a great favor, please leave us a good review wherever you hear this podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Turi Ryder's She Said What. And you might also enjoy my book, She Said What? A Life on the Air, which you can find any place you buy your books or on Amazon.